Hey, good morning once again. We have a tornado warning now that includes parts of Beauregard and Allen Parish. I got the text up here. I'm going to read that to you once I realize I am most definitely live and on the air. It looks like things are kind of popping off right now. Okay, we are live. Here we go. This tornado warning is for northern Jefferson Davis Parish, southeastern Beauregard Parish, northeastern Calcasieu Parish, and southwestern Allen Parish until 7 a.m. At 6:17 a.m., severe thunderstorms capable of producing a tornado were located along a line extending from near Fields to near, I don't know if it's Bueller. I've never heard that one. Moving east at 55 miles per hour, hazard tornado. Source is radar indicated rotation. These storms will be near DeQuincy, Oretta, and Bueller around 6:20 a.m. Moss Bluff at 6:25. Ragley and Gillis around 6:30. Longville and Topsy at 6:35. Reeves and Buller around 6:40. LeBlanc around 6:45. Kinder, Fenton, and Harmony around 6:50. Let's dig into it. First off, I know you're noticing this also. Got multiple tornado warnings down here, including this flashing one, which indicates a tornado warning that is an actual confirmed tornado. And from what I am seeing here, if you're watching from Calcasieu or Cameron Parish, the west side there, the reason they went confirmed on that is that the Port Arthur Fire Department reported tornado damage, and they're en route to the scene right now. And they're going to keep us posted. So, you hear those reports. It's a building down on Thomas Street in Port Arthur. Their Port Arthur Fire Department's on the scene. So this line here, this is a significant line. We're seeing supercells forming out ahead of this main line. And let's go ahead and take a look at velocity here. And let's start off simply with the shear swath. I don't know if that's that simple with that tornado watch behind it, so let me take that off. Okay, there we go. Now we see the old one there. We see this new shear swath that's coming through northern Calcasieu Parish, and then we have that one that's coming out of southeast Texas there as well. Looking at velocity on the radar here, we're looking from the Lake Charles radar. First off, I'll put the warnings back on for this actually, because we have that confirmed tornado that is now moving actually fairly close to the Lake Charles radar site. Here's the next one we're watching. This is going to be more, it's going to be more attached to that squall line, or this one also is, but we're going to see those, it's basically going to be quick spin ups. You can see that charging area of wind that's moving out ahead of this. And then that's why they were kind of highlighting this as more a group of storms than just one solid tornado threat as we have down here with this one. Yeah, that's a nasty looking cell right there that's moving right up toward Lake Charles. And I'll cover that as well, because I know there are a lot of folks that watch from down there. Let's take a look at the debris tracker and see if I see anything coming out of Port Arthur. I don't see anything coming out of Port Arthur with that. I don't see anything also along with this cell here. But what we do see is some very impressive wind velocities along this squall line. This was the worry up here, that we would see this move through the entire area. Fortunately, the instability has been really robbed of this system up in our area up here, like north of DeRidder to Oakdale to Ville Platte line, or maybe a little further north than Ville Platte. But north of that line, we've seen less instability. We've had a lot of rainfall. We've had the flooding issues, but we are not seeing near that kind of instability. And man, that is an impressive line right there. I'm going to pause things real quick. We'll go over to storm relative. And yes, that is right there going to be a significant circulation heading toward the radar site there in Lake Charles. And we have a confirmed tornado that has moved through parts of Port Arthur, Texas. I don't have specifics on where, apart from a building being down on Thomas Street in Port Arthur, Texas. Further up north, you can see that surge of wind along the squall line. This is where we'll get those quick spin-ups. If that happens, oh my goodness, I forgot to put myself up there again. If that happens, we, if we see these spin-ups happen that quickly, they're tough to warn. So I like that they're putting this warning out here for parts of, I don't like that they're putting out. I think it's a good cautionary measure to take. But for southern Beauregard into southern and central Allen Parish, you're going to want to seek shelter as the tornado warning does include you. I'm going to look at the Fort Johnson radar site here. just see if we have anything different. Can definitely see the mesocyclone there. Not seeing nearly as much, but we're looking at the lower level things with a squall line, so that's why the Lake Charles radar is going to be our better bet. So we'll go ahead and take a look with that and see that surge there. You have the inflow coming in here. You can really see it kind of wrapping around, and that's why we have that tornado warning that includes the city of Lake Charles. And right near that radar site, and I'm wondering if they're going to have to seek shelter down there. We also have a new flood warning that actually only includes the Texas counties, for Hardin, Jasper, Newton, and Tyler County. We did have a new flood warning issued for the northwestern, I guess, third of Rapides Parish. And it's possible this gets extended a bit further onto the east, but this doesn't actually include the entire city of Alexandria, but there is, of course, plenty of heavy rain and more to come. So I could see this getting expanded a little further east as we go through the next few hours. But that squall line south, across South Louisiana means business here. North, and let me pull the radar up and I'll show you what I'm talking about, kind of where this boundary is and where the instability sort of changes on us. It's pretty much going to be like this. That's a rough estimate. But south of this line, we're seeing more of a severe threat here. We're seeing these storms rotate quickly. Looks like another warning now, including Opelousas. This is a severe thunderstorm warning. Let me get the information on that one for you. This includes Acadia, Evangeline, and St. Landry. I think it's just a little tiny corner of Evangeline. The severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for southeastern Evangeline Parish and northeastern Acadia and southwestern St. Landry Parish. Severe thunderstorm was located near Richard, or 7 miles west of Church Point, moving northeast at 20 miles per hour. The hazards are 60-mile-per-hour wind and quarter-sized hail. This is going to impact Opelousas, Church Point, Leonville, Sunset, Grand Coteau, Mawada, Prairie Ronde, Maxey, Savoy, Lawtell, Swords, Branch, and Richard. So if those sounded familiar to you, I think I got most of the pronunciations correct. You are under the gun for the potential of some severe weather. And there's actually another severe warning here that clips the southeastern part of St. Landry Parish. So a lot of activity here. Things really ramping up. After the flood threat kind of ruled the night, it looks like the severe threat is picking up across at least the southern third of our area right now. Thank you, Ashley. I appreciate the donation. That's very nice of you. DeRitter and Leesville. I'm looking at questions now. Anything north of that line I drew, and I'll give you another rough estimate on this. Anywhere north of this, your threat is going to be flooding. There could be some severe weather lingering, but I think it's really going to stay, south of this line. That's where our warmth and instability is. This is like a prime breeding ground for storms. They're going bonkers once they get up to around I-10. So if you have any travel plans this morning, you say you were going to Baton Rouge, you're like, I'm going to leave, at 7 or something, I would say that's going to be a tough sled for you. Never going to say it's going to be impossible, but that would be a hard trip. And then if you're heading to the northwest, we have all these flood warnings that basically run all the way from the Delta region of northern Mississippi all the way into southeast Texas. So here at my house, I am just coming up on 2 inches of rain since midnight, 2.28 out of this since yesterday evening. I'm trying to sort it all out. And then 3.08 inches of rain through the whole event here. So the 3 to 6 inches has officially verified at my house. I know a lot of you down here weren't seeing the rainfall. Now it's coming. You're going to get plenty of it, and you're going to see that severe threat as well. Let me check things out here, see what we have. When it comes to like specific locations and things like that, I will say that thank you, Amanda. I will say that area is south of that line there. So basically south of Vernon, Rapides, and Avoyelles Parish, that's where we have our greatest threat for severe weather. There's going to be a lot more rain up to the north here, and I'll show you kind of a future radar here in just a second. It looks like we have a new tornado warning there that, again, is just right outside of our area. But when we're talking confirmed tornado, we're going to go ahead and go with it. And this thing, they are warning for 80-mile-per-hour winds. Is that? I guess that's a severe thunderstorm warning. But I guess it's because it is a potentially destructive severe thunderstorm is what I'm thinking we have here. Yes, that's what it is. So that's for Eastern Cameron, Jeff Davis, Southwestern Acadia, Southeastern Calcasieu, Northwestern Vermilion Parish until 7:15 a.m. We have a severe thunderstorm warning. This is for severe storms that are located near Carlist to near Grand Lake to Cameron, moving east at 65 miles per hour. So these are moving quickly. And we have those tornado warnings with them as well. The hazard here that we are looking at is 80-mile-per-hour winds. So that's what that is right there on this one. We had the observed tornado earlier, it looks like, and now we have destructive severe thunderstorm winds possible down that way, and we have our tornado warnings locally. So let's go ahead and declutter. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the warnings off for a minute so we can see this, because this is going to be really interesting with all this being really, really close to the radar site. So this is your base velocity. This is going to give me a pretty true reading of what the winds are, because looking at this bright green patch here, I'm 350 feet above ground level. So let's take a look at it. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, so we're seeing radar measured winds moving into the south side of Lake Charles. Let's see, if you go down and fish in Holly Beach, Hackberry, that area, it's kind of between Lake Charles and Hackberry before you cross into Cameron Parish, across the big bridge, and I forgot the name of the bridge. But before you cross that, it looks like we have some significant, potentially destructive winds, even if there's not a tornado here, like I was just showing you. 100-plus mile-per-hour winds being measured 300 feet above the ground. The next scan of this will be very interesting. I'm going to be watching this closely. Again, not in our area, but I know I'll get comments from Lake Charles or Broussard or Youngsville or whatever. So whenever I have something significant like this, especially if I'm already in the midst of covering things, I am certainly going to continue to do that. Now we have tornado warnings, and when you have severe thunderstorm warnings like that, it's effectively like a tornado warning, because if you have 80-plus mile-per-hour winds, it doesn't matter if that's a tornado or if that's straight line wind, you're going to have some big damage, and there could be some really significant issues with anyone at a trailer home, things like that. Now, fortunately to the north, I'm not seeing any problems, or I'm not seeing anything glaring jumping out at me on these storms that are moving into Beauregard Parish, this tornado warning for Beauregard and Allen Parish in our area. But I really think this area down here is kind of the main one to watch for right now. So a look at the big picture on the Lake Charles radar. Again, too many warnings, so we're going to just take those off. You see what happens when it moves north, when we get the rain showers and thunderstorms north of that outflow. They go from looking really crisp and producing hail to just kind of a mess. No complaints here. This one did just take me over, thankfully. I was going nuts here. I was at 1.99 inches of rain, 2.02 now since midnight. But you can see, once we get north of that boundary I've been talking about, the storms just kind of fade out. They don't fade completely, but you don't get that real crisp, hard look that you're seeing, like with this storm here moving into southeastern Evangeline and western St. Landry Parish. There you go, Nick. And then off to the east, you can see these cells are much different character than what we see up here. And then we get into this stratiform rain, we call it, where it's just pretty much moderate rainfall. You're going to hear some thunder mixed in with that, but that is where the severe threat is just not going to be anymore. Look at all that lightning those sprinkled out there. So don't just think, hey, it's a nice gentle rain, I'm going to go out and have a nice walk here. But I say that because I definitely respect lightning. It scares the heck out of me. Well, if I'm, I like to watch it, but if I can't control it, I don't want to be stuck out in it. I think that's a very sane thing to say. But let's go back and look and see what we have going on with that storm. First off, we have our tornado warning locally, and I'll pop those warnings up again. There's so much going on. It really makes for a busy screen here. But tornado warning, including southern Beauregard and western, southwestern, central Allen Parish. Fortunately, I'm not seeing anything that's saying, hey, I think there's definitely a tornado on the ground here. What is the absolute craziness here is this, very close into the radar. I mean, we're looking basically at ground level, and I mean, right next to the radar. I mean, half a mile maybe. We're seeing 73 show up there, 73 there. I'll clear this out because I'm in pretty close quarters on this stuff. Whoops. Why are you doing that? Okay. There we go. 83, 88. We've seen 100 plus show up on this. So big time damaging wind. And just so again, we're kind of going into regional coverage. Actually, since this is in the area, we're going to go with this first. This is a tornado warning now that includes Washington, Opelousas. I'll get you the text here in just a second. Another flash flood emergency now for Tyler, Jasper, and Newton counties, including Kirbyville and Newton. And then the tornado warning that was just issued. It's until 7:15 a.m. This is for northeastern Acadia and central St. Landry Parish in central Louisiana. And that is a storm that is potentially, it could produce a tornado located over Richard or near Church Point and moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. So this storm right here is the one we're watching in this case. And that tornado warning is going to be near Church Point, Swords, and Lawtell around 6:40, Opelousas and Prairie Ron around 6:45, Washington around 6:55, Port Barry and Grand Prairie around 7:05. And if you're on Interstate 49 or plan on traveling, this is going to cover the area from mile marker 14 to mile marker 34. So that would include all the Opelousas exits. That's going to include the exit for to go to LeBeau. That's going to include the exit in between there. I forgot what I think 23 is. But you know that area, I'm sure, just as well. So if you are basically south of mile marker 34 through Opelousas and to the south side of Opelousas, this tornado warning includes your area. Not seeing on this radar, this one's actually dealing with a lot, though. Let me see what they're seeing on Fort Johnson. No, I'm not seeing anything jumping out at me here, but I am watching. So, yeah, probably some hail in there. They're forecasting up to ping pong ball size hail with this one, and you can see the worst of that's right along 190 there between Eunice and Opelousas. So some big hail there. That's coming up now into southeastern Evangeline Parish, and that little chunk that goes out there for Eunice, it's just this big sliver of St. Landry Parish. That's where the worst of this storm is, and it's moving on toward the northeast. Looking back toward Lake Charles, I want to check on the radar, make sure it survived. Remember, this radar was taken out completely in Hurricane Laura. So it is a fresh, fancy new one here, but 65, 91 miles per hour. So still getting some very significant winds showing up here. That is right near that radar site in Lake Charles. I'm going to knock these warnings off for just a minute and see if I can't pick something up here. I'm going to add the local storm reports, though. And what I was going to say earlier, this is from a meteorologist for KFDM TV in Beaumont. That's Chad Sandwell. He says in the chat that the report of a tornado touchdown in Port Arthur around 11th and Thomas Streets, the reports are it's a mess. And one of the meteorologists right now saying that at the office, at the Lake Charles Weather Service office, they are gusting right now to 55 miles per hour, or 55 knots. So that's going to put them over 60 miles per hour. So severe wind gusts down at the office, and this is why, you know, it's such a difference in what 50 miles can do, but shoving that boundary a little further south kept this instability down that way, which, you know, obviously I'm not saying this is good that anyone got it, but it's less widespread because you run out of real estate in Louisiana. Once you get so far south, you're in the ocean there. So to have this whole area up here in the northern, you know, 2/3 of the state that's avoiding the worst of this is great, but man, is it just absolutely nasty down across parts of South Louisiana. Put the warnings back up. So right now, currently, we have tornado warnings active, several of them. Another tornado warning came out at 6:39. That is right now. That does not include our area specifically, but this does include Acadia, Calcasieu, and Jefferson Davis Parish in South Louisiana. So not a good day to travel, of course. This morning is going to be very rough. So any sort of plans to head toward Lake Charles, down 165, down 49, something like that, let's wait on that. And afterward, it's going to rain a good bit, but let's actually take a look real quick here. I know we have active tornado warnings, but let's see the evolution of this. On our future track, yeah, a lot of power outages. We know that for sure. Okay. So you can see just a big mess of storms over the area. This continues into the morning. Then, you know, by mid-morning, we probably calm down a bit, but it looks like new storm development is possible. Doesn't look nearly as strong as what we're seeing right now. And then even some scattered showers later on after that moves through. So possibly as late as this late afternoon into the early evening, we could see some scattered showers sticking around the area. But for now, the main show is going to be what is happening right now. And you can see, if you're just tuning in right now, just an absolute blitz of warnings over our southern parishes, and especially areas down south of I-10, really seeing some nasty stuff here. 72-mile-per-hour wind was measured, 38 south of Sea Rim State Park, so that is going to be out over the that's going to be out in the Gulf of Mexico, and it's probably on a tower pretty high up. So still 72-mile-per-hour winds, pretty impressive. But we could have seen that, and I think we will see. I think we're going to really see some significant damage around Lake Charles, especially South Lake Charles, because like I said, the National Weather Service, they were gusting to 55 knots, which I think, quick math on that would put it around 65 miles per hour. And that's just one sampling of that. Someone was probably above 80 miles per hour on that. On that severe storm that moved through Lake Charles area. We have a lot of tornado warnings right now. In fact, we have 1, 2, 3. They overlap. 4, 5. I would count this as probably 4 tornado warnings that are active, and these destructive severe thunderstorm warnings for wind gusts in excess of 80 miles per hour potentially. Looking at the velocity, and since I'm so close to the radar, I can look at the base velocity, and now it kind of looks wonky because that storm is right over the radar, so it's probably not going to give me the best look at things, but it does look like we have the potential for another tornado to develop here just southeast of the radar site. So southeastern Calcasieu Parish, seeing another threat for a tornado. Up into our area, none of these are really jumping off at me. I'm not seeing anything that's that says, hey, there's definitely a tornado with this, but there is a warning. We respect the warnings, and we want to be as careful as possible. Here is your storm moving up toward Opelousas and Washington. That storm, again, could produce a tornado. That has a tornado warning with it, and we could also see some large hail with that. I think that one was up to ping pong ball sized hail. Taking a sip here. Okay. Quick reset. Taking the warnings off, and we are going to put this in motion. Again, it gets north of the boundary. You know what happened there? The rain and the hail and everything is so dense over the radar. Watch how everything just kind of kicks it down a notch. So we're going to go to another radar for these purposes, and you see how it doesn't happen there. Still looks very impressive up here. There is very heavy rain falling across a large chunk of the area. It's steadier up to the north. Real heavy stuff here moving through Rapides, parts of Vernon, Beauregard, Allen, and Evangeline and St. Landry Parish, and of course areas down to the south as well. Let me see. Well, it's not going to be that valuable of something to look at there. I do want to look at this one, though. Yeah, you can see that. I mean, that is one heck of a sheer swath going across Calcasieu Parish. There's going to be some wind damage there. And again, the potential for tornadoes, not only in the future, but it's quite possible. We had one touchdown near this area. I know we had one, at least per the reports I'm seeing in the NWS chat, or in Port Arthur, Texas. So a lot of damage down there, at least in a small area that we know of so far. These reports tend to come out fairly slowly. Let me put the regular radar back up. Tornado warnings back up. And let's see if we have anything new and fresh coming in here. I'll pause it because it's tough to keep up with them all. So severe thunderstorm warnings now moving toward Baton Rouge. It looks like they're getting in on one. Tornado warning including Opelousas, though I did not see anything screaming that a tornado was down with that. Tornado warnings including Lake Charles, and this one here, this is including parts of Beauregard Parish as well as Allen Parish. So let's see. Yeah, Ville Platte, you're rocking and rolling there. Let's see. Just lost power. Ooh, tornado warning in Opelousas. Yep. The winds are very significant, especially in these southern storms, which, again, my cutoff is right about here, but when we have real significant things like this, we will talk about that. Flood warnings are most widespread in our area here from northern Catahoula through LaSalle, part of Wynne, Grant, southern Natchitoches, Rapides, Vernon, and looks like most of Beauregard and Allen Parish now seeing that flood warning as these storms continue to move on through. A better representation of what the radar looks like comes there because we actually don't have the crazy heavy rain right over the radar. It's just moderately crazy. But heavy rain about to move back into Alexandria. Leesville about to see that as well. So heavy rain, threat for tornadoes. We have at least one that looks like was confirmed near Beaumont. I have some stuff here. Oh, that's video. Not going to watch that. Probably just video of the wind down in Lake Charles because that's what I'm looking at here, the National Weather Service Lake Charles page. A lot of wind reports also up here around Jackson as that squall line moved through, and this squall line here across South Louisiana, mostly south of our area, but including the southern tier of parishes. That's why we have tornado warnings here in Beauregard and Allen Parish, as well as southeastern Evangeline and into St. Landry Parish. Let's take a look again at let's go storm relative. Storm relative not showing me much. That is what we want to say. Check this. Thinking that's probably hail that I'm seeing there. Moving up toward Opelousas. Let's put it in motion. Yeah, I think that's hail. In the tornado warning, though, so, things can change very quickly. And then I'm going to go down and see if I see any sort of debris signature showing up on Lake Charles as this came through. I don't think that was one. No, it doesn't look that way. But severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings continue for a large part of the area. It looks like we have a new warning now that just came out. Let's take a look. This is a big one. This includes Acadia, Allen, Beauregard, Evangeline, Jeff Davis, Rapides, and Vernon Parish. So we do have a severe thunderstorm warning up that far to the north as we are watching that northern end of that squall line that's going to kind of have possibly a little bit of a bookend vortice up here, a little vortex trying to form up that way. So this is going to move toward the east-northeast, possibly even pivoting on toward central Rapides Parish. So this warning, again, southwestern Rapides, northern Jeff Davis, southwestern Evangeline, eastern Beauregard, northwestern Acadia, southeastern Vernon Parish, and Allen Parish, all in southwest and central Louisiana. This is a severe thunderstorm it's a warning for severe thunderstorms located along a line extending from near DeRidder to near Dry Creek to Buller, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. The main threat here, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, nickel-sized hail. Expect damage to roofs, sidings, and trees. Locations included, and this is just some of them. There might be some small communities that we don't have here listed on this, but DeRidder, Oakdale, Mamou, Kinder, Basile, Oberlin, Rosepine, Elton, Elizabeth, Fenton, Reeves, Dry Creek, Sugartown, Pitkin, Mitty, Grant, Allen Parish Airport, LeBlanc, and Beaver. So those areas, you are under the gun for this one as it comes through, and you can see that warning just popped in here in the last few frames. I'm going to go back. Actually, before I do this, I'm going to look, see what that velocity looks like down south. And that's probably that right there's a real solid sign of a spin-up tornado heading toward Jennings. So if you're in that area, just looking at this scan, I mean, it's real easy to see. You can see the rotation right here. Red's going that way, green's coming in that way. So some pretty nasty stuff, and I'll even put it in motion for you. And you can just see it. I know it goes kind of quick, but... Oh. It's thunder. Yeah, that's what we're looking at down that way. That's going to cross I-10. So, again, not the best morning to be traveling, really, across most of Louisiana. Tornado warning continues into St. Landry Parish. We have that tornado warning for parts of Allen and Beauregard Parish as well along the squall line. Things change very quickly with these. So, even if you're just under a severe thunderstorm warning, you want to respect these. Let's see. Reports of strong winds knocking houses off of blocks. That's in Grand Lake. No injuries. Yeah, okay. No new information there for our local area. But you can see that, again, I have to go back to the other radar because that's going to show us a better idea of where the real heavy rain is happening, and that's why I'm hearing thunder here. We have some pretty stout echoes moving in from the south, and then this severe thunderstorm complex is kind of turning to the left there, and that could end up moving into parts of Rapides and Vernon Parish as well. Let's take a look at the camera outside, see what we're seeing here. All right, this is the look across MacArthur toward the west. Let me move this. Dew point, temperature 63, dew point 61. So the worst of this is south because that's where we have our deeper moisture. We have more instability and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to just turn this a little bit more toward the southwest, and it'll show up in just a second. In fact, I'll go check the Gina camera, see what's going on up there. Now that we actually have some daylight here to look out there, it looks like it's pretty tame right now up that way. Let's see if we've updated our Alexandria camera. No, it's decided to take a little breather. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you can see that next wave of rain. You can see how much heavier the rain is there, looking down toward Chick-fil-A and what is that? I guess that's Red River Bank. Yeah, you can just see the heavy rain. That's coming into the area here. It's about to get nasty on the roads once again. That was a big lightning strike. I'm sure I'm going to hear that one shortly. And, ooh, yeah, I saw it again right there. All right, back over to analysis mode to look at that radar. And there comes the heavy rain right into Alexandria. Have any of these tornado warnings been allowed to expire? Let me pause it so I don't have to try to do too much here. Nope, it looks like we still have both warnings going for our area. The one expires. Let's see when this one expires. Tornado warning expires at 7. Hopefully they won't renew that. And then I believe the Opelousas one, yeah, that's 7:15. So we have a little time to go on that one. There we go. But it's about to get loud here at home, here at my house. I am seeing the flashes out there. Did you hear that? 2,689 lightning strikes in the last 15 minutes. How about that? That's a lot. We're up over 2,700 now. And that just includes really what's going on here in Louisiana. All right. 6 inches of rain in Anacoco since 10 last night. Yeah. Yep, 2.16 here. Well, 2.45 since that time. .511 LA has live cameras along I-10. Like it. I love cameras. Getting more coming soon. Watching from Big Cane. How you doing? Hey, I have a special place in my heart for that place. It's where my wife's grandmama came from. But it's about to get loud there. Lots of lightning on that storm that's moving in toward your area. Not quite as much up here. You see how the lightning, I mean, when you get north of that boundary here, you go from these storms that are absolutely jam-packed with lightning. In fact, let's go ahead and do something here. Let's see how many let's just do a very non-scientific study here. So 2,260 strikes over these storms. Let's go north of this boundary and see what we have. 207. See, big difference. And that even includes a little chunk of what's going on there if I really wanted to get away from the instability. 131. So very electrified storms with the potential for not only severe weather, but tornadoes down south and just a lot of moderate to heavy rain falling across the northern part of the area. So we're all getting our rain. The 100% has verified for sure. I'm going to look at the storm relative velocity to see what we have going on. It's looking a little hairy toward Opelousas there. Not liking that. Well, I'm really not liking that. Let me see something here. Because if that is a tornado on the ground crossing 190, let me see. It's entirely possible it's not. I've got a lot of other things to look at before I say that. Yeah, that doesn't look like... I mean, to me, I think that is going to be either hail or some sort of contamination, but it's a big drop. And this is a tornado warning going on here. Yeah, attached to that, I would go ahead and treat this I'm not so much saying that it's on the ground for sure, but you've got some pretty serious rotation on the west side of Opelousas. If you are along 190, especially right along it, or north, if you're west... if you're west of Opelousas on 190, this storm is looking pretty nasty right now. I'm going to check a couple other things. You see, when I see that lining up with the strongest wind shear, I don't like to see that. Let me look at a couple other things here. Base, yeah. Yeah, BTI at 6.7, that's pretty high. I know that's just a shade north of this, but... yeah, BTI at 6.7, that's on a scale of 1 to 10, so when we're getting up into that 6-7 range, that's getting a little more intense. So that's just an indicator. The algorithm on this system shows me that it thinks, yeah, there could be a tornado here. There's a decent chance. Let's go back to this right here. That black there is showing some hail, most likely, some pretty large hail possibly. And then we will go back to that correlation coefficient that does show something going on. I'm not entirely sure what, but I'm watching this and watching every scan very closely. Let me see it on this. I'm going to look at something here. But if you are in Opelousas, if you're near or west of Opelousas, tornado warning is in effect and it's possible that I'm seeing some debris being lofted there, but I'm not entirely positive here. But if you're in that area, treat that tornado warning with respect. I would definitely say you're going to want to seek shelter immediately. And yeah, I am really getting the creeps out of that one. That thing is looking pretty nasty, and I know the Weather Service has a lot of things to look at. So if you are downstream of this storm, let me take some of this stuff off. Let me just take a peek over here. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything else. If you are in Washington, if you are in any of these communities you see right here, I want you to seek shelter now. Put as many walls between you and the outside as you can. And just get in the bathtub. All the things you've heard here, as many walls between you and the outside is key. A bathroom, closet, inner hallway, something like that. And cover your head with blankets and pillows. And if you have bike helmets or something like that, baseball helmet, pop that on. Because it looks like with this this signature I'm seeing on storm relative velocity, we have some pretty stout rotation with this storm. And we are at least seeing the potential for some debris with this. Now, I do see more clutter and contamination with this as well, but it's just seeing that big drop there, seeing it on the Lake Charles radar as well. Let me take a look at Shreveport. Shreveport's all torn up, but that's very high up in this storm. So since I am seeing that, I would say seeing that on those two radars, I want you to go ahead and be as safe as you can here. If you are anywhere from Washington down to the western side or northern parts of Opelousas, Plaisance, that area, let's give you some streets here. Government Road, Hinckley Road, Collins Lane. Anywhere in Washington, you are under this tornado warning. And it is possible that we are seeing some debris being lofted there. Let me go out a little further. Yeah, I'm very interested in that. Yeah. They just said they're becoming very concerned with the supercell west of Opelousas. So, yeah, this is the one we're watching. A lot of rotation showing up in this storm. Tornado warning continues. This one was set to expire at 7:15. I could see this getting extended. Fortunately, the one out west here, you have been cleared in Beauregard and Allen Parish. So let's go and take a look over here. Yeah, big storms and tornado threat down south. We have this severe thunderstorm warning that includes Rapides, Vernon, and parts of Rapides, Vernon, Beauregard, Allen, and Evangeline Parish. And then this is kind of the most intense cell right now. Now, this one off to the east is out of the area, so we're going to focus on the one that is right here in my forecast area. The tornado watch continues. Okay, that's just the tornado watch continuing. Take a look at the shear products. I'm actually going to pull off the warnings here. Yeah, they're not jumping out too crazy. But we are seeing some pretty good shear. Again, that's an algorithm. So seeing some pretty strong shear. If you are anywhere near Opelousas, especially on the west and northern side, or if you're near Washington, Beggs, that area, further east and further northeast here toward Bolden and eventually maybe LeBeau. I know I have a lot of family there, and I know they'll be watching this. If you guys are seeing this, it's down the road. LeBeau, Palmetto, though, you're going to want to keep an eye on this as well, as it looks like there's at least some potential that if a tornado hasn't touched down yet, I like to see that. It looks much junkier on the Fort Johnson radar there. But if a tornado has not touched down, this is a pretty nasty-looking supercell. We can clearly see the inflow pulling in, and we have that rotation that is continuing and really looking rough there. Storm relative, yeah, that's a nasty storm. You see how this goes, though. You've got the winds blowing like that, winds coming back around like this, and this area right here, right up toward Washington. That's where the highest threat to see a potential tornado is going to be. Not seeing a very clear debris signature or anything. Whatever was on the Lake Charles site has come down just a little bit, but it still looks pretty rough on radar, and there is still that tornado warning in effect, and you can see how it all lines up. There's that inflow coming in, the wind's rotating there, and where we at least had some sort of a debris signature. That right there is what we're watching right now as closely as possible. And if you are in this area, I'm going to pull the warning back up. If you are in Washington, Beggs, Opelousas, especially north and west of town, you are under this tornado warning, and that is our only active tornado warning in our parishes right now. I don't think that one clips any of Allen Parish right there, but big time squall line moving through, severe thunderstorm warning off to our west as well, or off to the southwest of Alexandria as this line continues to move up to the northeast. The rain is dumping outside right now here at the house. Let me see if we have any comments. I don't want to miss anything here. Well, LaSalle, you didn't. I wouldn't say you missed the bad stuff, but you missed the crazy severe stuff. You had the flood warnings and all that. Tornado watch at Fort Johnson that was just reissued. Yeah, Big Cane is north of Opelousas. It's right off of 71 there on not 107. I forgot the highway now. Severe thunderstorm warning for Vernon. Yeah, yep. It's going to rain a good part of the day. But the worst of this severe threat, once this line moves through, I can't rule out an afternoon severe storm, but I don't think it's going to be nearly what we're seeing right now. And they've reissued the tornado warning for St. Landry Parish, and they have gone up to 2.5-inch hail as well. So that's pushing baseball size. Let me read the text for this. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located near Opelousas. If you have any sort of damage reports to pass along, please go ahead and do that if it's safe to. I know it's not the first priority, but if you hear something or anything and you can let us know, that's a big help. This is radar indicated rotation. The hazard here is tornado and tennis ball sized hail. This is going to be impacting Port Barre in Washington around 7:10, Palmetto around 7:15, LeBeau around 7:20, Melville around 7:30, and Bayou Current around 7:35. So if you are in any of those towns I have just mentioned, this tornado warning is for you. And let me take a look and see what we have going on here. This is from the Lake Charles radar, which can be a little contaminated because it's shooting through all that crazy storm stuff. So let me see. The Fort Johnson radar has been better with this. Rotation doesn't look incredibly tight, but this storm has looked really healthy, and it's still in an environment that's conducive for the potential of tornadoes. Now, I don't know if that was a tornado that was on the ground, but if so, that is tracking very close to Washington, Macklin, Beggs, that area. So we get in closer, eventually, again down the line, LeBeau, Rosa, Palmetto, Bolden, those areas, you're going to want to seek shelter now. So let me actually put that in the family group. But if you are in those areas, you're going to want to go ahead and seek shelter immediately. I know they text constantly. There they are. Ugh. All right. But yeah, see, you could see that big blue dot. That was what I was watching. Not sure if it was hail showing up or if that was actually a tornado that had touched down there west of Opelousas along 190. We will know soon enough, though. You want to treat this like it is a confirmed tornado, as we do have a tornado warning on this. The entire town of Iowa is without power. Man, we're getting a lot of that kind of stuff. Special weather statement up here. What's that for? I don't even know. It doesn't matter. That one is just for a strong thunderstorm near Alexandria, wind gusts up to 40. We can handle that. So right now, the main thing I am watching is this blue dot that I'm very curious to know if that was a tornado or not. This storm is now producing potentially, it looks like hail to the size of tennis balls, and you can see that core really explode there north of Washington. This is going to move right up toward Morrow, Bayou Jack, Big Cane, Rosa, Lemoyne. That's where I think the worst of the hail threat is. I think the worst of the tornado threat is going to be a little bit south of that toward LeBeau, Palmetto, and Washington. You're kind of under the gun right now, but look at that hail core. That thing is nasty. Let me see something. Yeah, you can see it really explode on both radars, even that Lake Charles radar that's having trouble seeing through all the crazy rain and everything. And this is the Shreveport radar. It's going to give you a little different look at it. But yeah, it is about to hail big time in Beggs. Yeah, you're going to see likely at least golf balls with the potential of tennis ball-sized hail. So let me go in, and I know tornado is the main threat here, but this is a huge hail signature that is currently just northeast or over Grand Prairie, Old Hickory Road, True Vine Road, headed up toward Garland. You're about to get into this as well, probably into it already. George Buller Road, that area, you're looking for some pretty significant hail. This is Highway 71. Right there, that's where Stellies is. I'm going to have a camera there in a couple weeks. I wish I had that now because we'd be able to see what's going on. Almost fell out of my chair there. All right. Got another update coming from National Weather Service. Tornado warning east of Lake Charles will be allowed to expire since the rotation has moved out of the box. That's good. So big hail showing up in a couple of different cores here, but especially up here near Garland, between Garland and Grand Prairie, moving up toward Rosa, Lemoyne. That area is about to get smoked with some golf ball to tennis ball-sized hail. Taterville, Big Cane, Bayou Jack, you are next in line after that, and we have that threat for a tornado as well. So tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings, all in effect. And this now up here would be the hail showing up on that correlation coefficient. And there's still some pretty good indication there of rotation. And that might even be turning a little bit toward the right as this mesocyclone continues to intensify. It looks like tornado warning, severe thunderstorm warning. This is St. Landry Parish in central Louisiana, and a pretty rough-looking storm there. Eventually down the line could be hitting Melville. I think it probably stays north of Krotz Springs. Elsewhere in the area, it looks like a new warning now has been issued. This includes Ville Platte. Let's see what we're looking at here. Where is the warning, guys? I'm looking. Maybe I'm going crazy. I can tell you that hold on. So this latest tornado warning that covers parts of western St. Landry and parts of Evangeline Parish goes until 8 o'clock, 8 in the morning. And I do not see any sort of text on it yet. I know what I'll do. I'm going to look up here. Man, there's some rough storms. Well, I don't see it here either. Okay, we're going to wait on this for a little bit. There we go. This, just issued. North Central Lafayette Parish, Southern Evangeline, Northern Acadia, and central St. Landry Parish. There are severe thunderstorms capable of producing a tornado located along a line extending from near Basile to Iota, moving east at 70. These will be near Eunice, Maxi, Duralde. I don't know that one. Around 7:15, Mamouche, Chateauneuf, Savoy, Branch, and Richard around 7:20. Church Point, Swords, and Lawtell 7:25. Opelousas, again, new tornado warning now. Ville Platte, Sunset, Grand Coteau, Cancton, and Prairie Ronde around 7:30. Some of these names are getting said multiple times. And Washington and Grand Prairie around 7:35. So you have this tornado warning to deal with, and then you have another one behind it. Now that's going to be attached to the squall line that is back here. Meanwhile, we're dealing with this supercell out ahead of that main squall line. So just a pretty wicked ride right there. And it looks like I don't foresee any sort of change with that in the next little bit here, because this means business right here. That is some serious rotation moving into Washington. Let me take a look at that debris tracker, see if we have anything on that. Not seeing anything that's really jumping out at me. I'm going to go to a different radar. No. Okay, that's good. So not seeing anything, but that's a lagging indicator. That's something that is going to show up after it happens. I'll tell you what, I am going to be right back. I did not grab coffee, and I'm seeing double. So let me grab that. I'm going to leave the radar on loop. I will be back here in about a minute. I'm coming. Oh my goodness. Okay, this should help. Sorry, guys. Very professional of me, I know. So, what we have here, just kind of resetting things, we have multiple tornado warnings, one in effect in the most pressing right now here over St. Landry Parish. We have another one that is impacting parts of St. Landry Parish that have just been impacted by this warning already, and then Evangeline Parish, and then into the southern, into areas south of us. You got to stop meowing. I'm doing serious stuff. 60-mile-an-hour winds in Lake Charles. Okay, we already had that. Nope, you're going to have to get down, baby. Sorry, guys. Hop down. No pushing buttons for you. So the tornado warnings that were in effect a couple of minutes ago continue. Looks like a tornado warning that is also in effect for the western suburbs of Baton Rouge. Just since I stepped away for a second here, let's go ahead and just look at velocity. And that storm over St. Landry Parish looks ugly. So what I'm seeing here, you can clearly see that rotation over Washington, over that area. And just to give you an idea of the strength of it, let's go ahead and, 82 miles per hour inbound, 31 outbound. So we're looking at over 100 mile an hour, 110 mile an hour difference there aloft. But that means this storm is spinning and really, really means business right over Washington. Let me clear that out. In fact, I'll clear the warnings off since we're just going to focus on this for a minute. Just kind of makes it look a little better. Yeah, there's your shear rate. So we're seeing the wind shear showing up right. Yeah, and this is heading up. LeBeau, Palmetto, Bolden, that area, that is where the strongest rotation is with this. Let's look at the, yeah, good. We're not seeing, again, it's a lagging indicator, but we're not seeing the debris showing up. So that's a good thing to see. Not seeing it on either radar site. Very good news there. But with this kind of velocity signature and over 100 miles an hour of rotational velocity, this is a very serious looking storm. And I'll take a look at, I just want to see as many angles as I can. Clear rotation there as well at a different level into this storm. So if you are in St. Landry Parish, if you are anywhere just like on the northeast side of Washington up through Bolden, Palmetto, LeBeau, out to the east eventually, down a little further down the line, this could impact areas like, let's see, Bayou Current, Elba, Goodwood, Melville. You could be in line for this as it could turn a little bit toward the right. It looks like another new severe thunderstorm warning, so let's go take a look at that. We have a tornado warning west of that along the squall line. That's going to be for southern and central Evangeline Parish, parts of St. Landry Parish as well, but that's a much stronger signature right there. And the new severe thunderstorm warning, this includes, let me read this out for you. This does include Alexandria. I see that. So this is for Rapides Parish in central Louisiana, Evangeline Parish, Avoyelles Parish, northern St. Landry. They just can't get a break. Southeastern Vernon Parish and northeastern Allen. And this is until 8:15 a.m. At 7:18, severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from Fullerton to near Beaver to near Eunice. So a long line moving northeast at 60. The hazard here, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-sized hail. Locations impacted. Poor Opelousas, they're back on the list again. Alexandria, Opelousas, Pineville, Eunice, Oakdale, Ville Platte, Marksville, Bunkie. This is massive. Mamou, Simmsport, Glenmora, Melville, Moraville, Cheneyville, Elizabeth, Turkey Creek, Palmetto, Heinzton, Bordelonville, and Bayou Current. All these areas included in this ginormous warning here that is now issued for our area. So that's what we're looking at here, but the most pressing thing is this storm down here in central St. Landry Parish. And I just keep looking to make sure I'm not missing any sort of observations here. Let's see. We just don't want to see that blue dot show up. That's what we're not looking for. I mean, that's what we're looking for, but you know what I'm saying. So see how different that looks, though, from the Lake Charles radar? We switch over here. Well, actually, it doesn't anymore. Never mind. It doesn't look that different. I'm going crazy. This is the severe storm that's going to come up, and I'm actually up to 3.05 inches of rain since yesterday evening. Here at my house in Alexandria. I'm sure that Jackson Street's just a blast right now. And then that area like at Versailles and Lark where it just turns into a lake. So your typical spots are going to see a lot of water even if you're not actually in that flood warning. And I know it just kind of looks like a mess right now with all these warnings. But you can see that even behind this, there's still going to be some moderate to heavy rain, maybe some really gusty winds as well. So looking at velocity data, once again, a very clear signature on rotation that is moving toward Bolden, Palmetto, eventually down the road toward Melville. Maybe that stays south of LeBeau just by a little bit. So yeah, it looks like that's going to probably stay south, but sometimes these things can be tilted. You know, it's not always just straight up and down. You know, actually, the ideal supercell is tilted. That's just kind of how it works because it's got to have the updraft and the downdraft, and they can't compete with each other. They can't crush each, the downdraft would crush the updraft and all that stuff. So looking like this one is kind of kicking out on that south end here, so we're going to have to watch and see if this wraps around and if we get a tightened up circulation there. If this does drop a tornado, It's most likely going to be near Bolden, Palmetto, Sambo, up toward Goodwood, maybe Melville. You definitely want to be in your safe place. And then this is going to roll on into Point Coupee Parish, and not a moment too soon to get out of our area and hopefully weaken across the northern part of that parish that is pretty sparsely populated. I know this area also here until you get toward Melville, that is pretty sparsely populated, but there are a lot of good folks out in these areas, so we certainly are going to stay with this coverage until these are out of the area. And now they've issued another flash flood warning. This one here includes parts of Rapides, Acadia, Avoyelles, Evangeline, Jeff Davis, and St. Landry Parish. Doppler radar indicated 2 to 4 inches of rain has fallen, and additional amounts of 1 to 4 are possible in the warned area. Flash flooding is ongoing or expected to begin shortly. We just have the full meal deal of things going on right now. The most pressing threat being this right here. That is your tornado warning over parts of St. Landry Parish. A good chunk of the parish is under that tornado warning. And then you can see just how fast that squall line's moving. Look at that thing just blasting toward the east there. And then on the northern end of this, we have a severe thunderstorm warning that is now includes Alexandria. It includes most of Rapides Parish, so LeCount, Union Hill, Cheneyville, name a city except for like Boyce and Flatwoods, I think. But that is the bow echo we were worried about. This is impacting mainly southern areas, but it looks like that northern end is trying to sneak up and cause some issues here closer to my house. Let me see. Just checking to see. I like to sometimes look at other radars too, so I'm doing that kind of on my own time here. But yeah, if you plan on trying to get out and travel across a good chunk, pretty much anywhere, it's going to be really rough, especially for Rapides, Vernon, Beauregard. I'm naming them all, Allen, Evangeline, St. Landry, and Avoyelles. That's where the worst of this is right now. And you can see on your radar here, the one that I'm showing you, that, gotta remove those warnings, that we transition from blinding craziness rain with severe threats, possibly large hail, tornadoes, and all that, to this very uniform, general, steady to heavy rainfall across the northern half of the area. All right, let me put this back. Y'all, can I tell you how hard I'm going to sleep when this is over? Let's see. Just looking to see. Well, thanks, Dan. Yes, you can subscribe to the page. Occasionally I go and talk in I'll go and say stuff in the chat over there or whatever, but it does really help. I mean, without the subscribers, trust me, I would not be setting up 8 new cameras coming up very soon. That is seriously, I couldn't do it without y'all. That is right there, the rotation that we're watching moving into northeastern St. Landry Parish. The worst of this looks like it's near or just south of LeBeau toward Palmetto and Bolden. So that's where we have the highest chance to see a tornado materialize. Yeah, flash floods all over the place. Just so hard to keep up with everything here. I'm trying to narrow it down to where we're just talking about our area. But then earlier, you have all that stuff down south near Lake Charles, and I know we have people watching from there. Don't worry about that. That's a weird artifact on radar. But look at how this thing's just kind of bowing out. I'm not even looking at the radar like the rainfall. This thing is really bowing out here as it charges eastward into these areas that have been dealing with this severe thunderstorm, or this series of severe thunderstorms. It does look like that line is actually accelerating and kind of catching up to that, which could mean for a pretty nasty ride once this thing gets east of the area. Now, once this line gets east of us, the severe threat really drops. So right now, we were just talking about crazy weather in Lake Charles. Well, they're back to where it's just raining now. No real severe threat there. We have our warnings locally. Let me show you that. special weather statements, flood warnings. I mean, it's hard to keep up with it all. Let's take a look at power outages real quick. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do the math in my head here. 76, 82, 83, 93, 12, 8, 15, 3, 50, 16,600 customers without power. That's customers. That's not individuals. So, you figure tens of thousands of people without power right now. It is, we're seeing this pretty widespread across the area. In fact, I'm kind of surprised we're not seeing more in these areas as well. But that's a very, very good thing. Big time power outages down there in Calcasieu Parish as well. So yeah, lots of power outage issues. Let's take a look at the future radar. Take you through this kind of quickly on the statewide front. But you can see once this gets through, yeah, it gets more scattered, but we're still going to have rain in the area. So if you have any plans to be out and around, you're planning, hey, I got the kids out of school today. Let's go do something fun. You'll just want to stay ahead of this and check on the weather and all that. There is our ongoing tornado warning. It looks like they've trimmed this one along the squall line. But this squall line is moving so quickly. They have the tornado warning. If you're under it, you want to certainly respect that. But at the same time, it's gonna happen like that, because that squall line's probably moving like 70 miles per hour. So it's gonna change very quickly on you. Just looking through recent chat stuff. Not seeing, I'm actually getting a little encouraged about that cell out ahead of the main line there. It doesn't look like the rotation's quite as tight. We still have that tornado warning. It looks like a mess on the Lake Charles radar, so go back here where we have a little bit more of a coherent look at it, and hopefully not see anything. Yeah, not seeing a correlation coefficient drop. That's good. Reflectivity showing there's our new flood warning. So, there are places right now that have flood warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado watches. They're layering warnings upon warnings. And, this right out here, that kind of odd-shaped flash flood warning in Texas, that is a flash flood emergency. And just let me show you this real quick. We'll just go for the last 24 hours, and now everybody's kind of in on this. But big time rain totals. Avoyles, you're not there yet. You'll get there. But anywhere in yellow is over 2 inches. Anywhere in this purple that turns almost white is just obnoxious. 15-inch estimates on radar. I thought I was being a little over the top. Not really, but I wanted to prepare you by saying 10 plus, because I thought there would be an isolated stripe. This is a little further west than I thought, but we have that across parts of Vernon and Beauregard Parish, and then even up into Northwest Rapides and Southern Grant, probably some 7-8 inch totals up that way. So let me go over to radar, reflectivity, warnings back up. Yeah, severe thunderstorm warning, including most of Rapides, part of Vernon, big chunk of Avoyles, down into Evangeline. Looks like that tornado warning has been trimmed back some to include only parts of Evangeline and St. Landry Parish. Then we have that storm out to the east as well. Not seeing anything on the ground there. Not seeing any signature on radar showing that. And they trim that back just now. So this tornado warning now includes Melville. This includes, it's actually going to be crossing into a different weather service office. So I'm interested to see if New Orleans ends up continuing this, because it looks like, we have rotation, but we're not seeing anything that's imminently looking like it's going to be on the ground. But along that squall line, you're going to want to be careful, because you see those little bumps and kinks in there, and that could be where we see some issues as well. Oh, wow. Seeing some of the damage pictures coming out of Port Arthur, there were some pretty significant brick walls caved in, things like that. So looks like a convenience store, I think. All right, guys. I know we have ongoing tornado warnings, but I need to rest the voice for a minute. Take a few minutes here, kind of regroup, check things out. And since I don't see anything that's jumping out saying, hey, this is on the ground. Well, hold on. Now I see that comment. No, I think after that squall line moves through Avoyles, you may see a flood threat, but I don't foresee any sort of big craziness. Pretty sure we just had a tornado in Ville Platte, Bel Air Cove Road. Okay. No, I think in Vernon Parish, that tornado watch should be dropped soon. They probably haven't because we still have this little nugget kind of sneaking back there on this top end here on this northern end of things. But there is your storm that is still rotating as it moves out of our area into Point Coupee Parish, and down here, not seeing any real coherent signatures for a tornado, but you see how that line kind of, what happens here is you just kind of, it's kind of wavy, get these kinks in it. And that's where we could see a quick spin up, and we could see that happen very quickly. So if you are ahead of this line, near Ville Platte, east of 49 for the most part, until you get down toward Opelousas, it's just about to impact you. I would say seek shelter, treat that tornado warning with respect, and treat any tornado warning with respect. I'm going to go regroup for a bit. I will be back. I promise you. I'll see you in a bit.